Hello students, I wanted to do a quick overview on how you might be able to show a sample calculation for standard deviation when you have a really large sample size. Instead of showing every single individual data point, you can probably show a few data points to get the idea and then show sort of the total of what that would equal, even if we don't show every individual one. So let me just show you how you might do that. So first of all, here is a chart that I might use for my sample calculations. I've already decided I am going to show some data on the increase in heart rate after jumping jacks. So I've included the first data points. I included 4 of them. Then I did a ... and I wrote n equals 37. N is the total number, and it might just be helpful to know that if I were to go all the way down, I would include 37 data points. Then I need to show some intermediate values. First, I want to delete the equation that I'm not using. Instead, the equation I am using is x minus the mean squared. So if I want to find what these numbers are, I can actually use sheets to find that for me as well. So let me show you how that's done. Right here, I have all of my change in heart rate data. And what I can do is go up to the top here, and I can insert a column to the left so that I have a little bit of space. And this space, I might label it just as x minus mean squared so that I remember what it is that I'm including. Then I need to do a little bit of math, but I can have Sheets do that math for me. So I can click the equal sign to tell Sheets that I want it to do the math. And then I can start some parentheses and say that I want it to take x, which is this individual data point, so I can click on that, a little dash for subtraction, and then I want to put in my average. My average in this one happens to be 44.1. I'm just going to type it in to keep it easy. Then I'm going to end my parentheses, use this little caret and a 2 to indicate that number squared. Then I'm going to take that value that I just did and copy it all the way down this data point. Then I have these numbers. So I can say, okay, 65.61 is true here. And that happens to also be true for all of my data points that are 36. And then my data point that is 48 is 15.21. All right, so now I have some data filled in here. Then I have this space down here for the sum. And I do need to know the sum of all my x values and the sum of x minus the mean squared. So again, I can do that in Sheets. So if I go down here to the bottom, I already have space for mean, standard deviation, standard error of the mean. I'm going to give myself a little bit more space by inserting a row above, and I'm going to call this row the sum. And in this space, I can hit my equal sign and tell Sheets to find the sum. And then I can highlight the data that I'm looking for, and it'll find that sum for me. So 1632 happens to be the sum of all of my x values. And the sum of my x minus x squared values, I can do the same thing, equals sum. And those numbers that I just found, I can highlight those to indicate that's what I want. There's one strange value here, my NA data point. I'm just going to turn that into NA so it doesn't mess with my data. Then it looks like 10,543.6 is my sum here. Okay, so now I have sums in these points, as if I did all the data points, even though the first couple are the only ones that are listed here. My final step is I do want to show in my equation how I would take the sum of that top value, divide by n minus 1, and take the square root of that. So what I can do is I can go over to Insert, and I can go to an equation. The equation builder is not super easy to use, but it's better than nothing for sure. So I can start by saying I want a square root value, square root like this. And the sum on the top is just that same number I just had, that 10,543.6. And then I'm going to divide by, okay, my total number is 37. So 37 minus 1 is 36. And then I can say I round that to 17.1. And this is a way to show standard deviation. Hope that's helpful.